Hey everyone, Brendon here from Athena Intelligence. Today I'm going to be walking through multi-agent systems on our Athena Intelligence platform, which we call Olympus. I want to step back though and talk about kind of how we got here and why this is a necessary component to the AI frameworks that we're seeing grow in popularity today. Quick about the company, Athena is based here in New York. We've been at it for a few years, building a number of different, in the early days, autocomplete for LLMs, all the way through the tooling layer, and then more recently agents, and then today we're going to be talking about some of these multi-agent systems. First and foremost, to provide a little bit of clarity into why we need these systems, let's zoom into a few of the agents that we're in production today with, and why the supervisor agent or some of the multi-agent systems we're going to look at are necessary. So, classic example that we've actually seen for a number of our customers is a drive management agent. So let's imagine for Google Drive or for SharePoint or OneDrive, for example, you want to have a system or an agent that's able to control that environment. So be able to search for assets, open and close these assets, create, rename, move, delete. Separately, you can imagine there's a number of other agents that you'd have within an organization, everything from an email scheduling agent all the way through to a supply chain logistics planning agent, a forecasting agent. As you grow the number of agents you're building for an organization, you reach a few limitations. One of which you'll see is going to be the ability for the agent to correctly pick the right tool. So one quick example as I walk through our platform is on the left-hand side here, we have an agent builder module. This agent building module allows our customers to come in, select a number of tools, pick an LLM. I believe we have about 25 to 30 now in platform. Add any additional knowledge or in our knowledge base, and then here at the end we're going to talk a little bit about agent collaboration or these multi-agent systems. Circling back though, let's imagine in this system we're looking at today, we've added a few available tools that are out of the box. We've now QA'd with this system. Let's transcribe and generate some comms on this topic. And as we grow the number of tooling that we'd be integrating here, we're going to reach a certain point where it's going to struggle to actually find the right answer. In that world, these multi-agent systems become very relevant. The reason for that is, in one example here, the supervisor is able to decide what actions to take and which agents are the right agents to pick from. Each then sub-agent is able to look at that problem or task description that they've received, and then they are able to solve the problem. Similar to if you have a team of humans, you're going to put each person on a particular set of tasks. Having all that context and all that tooling for one person becomes overwhelming. So a similar thing exists for these agent systems. One last note before we jump into one of our first demonstrations here is another reason you want to have these multi-agent systems is not just because as the tooling grows, it's hard to correctly plan out which tools to use, but also from a security perspective. So at our company, we've done our SOC 2 Type 2 report, HIPAA, a number of other security docs, and I always forget which is the right answer when I get a new question. So we've created a knowledge base and a security and compliance agent which answers those questions for us. Only certain people at our company are allowed to access that agent and actually build that agent. So in that circumstance, by actually separating out as a composable piece of this puzzle, we can provide a different security layer on top of it, such that if one person is discussing a topic with a supervisor agent, they might not have access to this sub-agent. So there's a security perspective around context as well as a tooling perspective. Let's jump into one example here with a multi-agent system in Athena. I'll open up our task library where we've put together a bunch of items that over time we've noticed our customers are asking of us. I'll kick off one of our agents here and we'll watch it work. This example, we're asking it to read the latest European sustainability packaging regulations and certification requirements, and we're asking for a one-pager. We're giving it a bit of detail for today's demonstration to make sure we stay on the rails but you can be as descriptive or not as you wish. Obviously, the more descriptive you are, the more you'll see these things stay on the rails. But the benefit of things like memory embedded in these systems allow it to learn over time. And so that next attempt doesn't require all that description. Let's walk through what just happened. We probably saw a lot of things flicker on our screen here. So the first step, it searched our internal assets. This agent, because it has access to internal data, does not have access to the internet. So again, coming back to why we create these agent systems in a discrete way, one of those benefits is allowing us to put varying levels of security around where the agent has access to. It was able to open up 5 or 6 of these found PDFs, which we can take a look at here. And then finally, it was able to put together a nice spreadsheet for us with the answer. In this example, I believe we asked it to rate the usefulness of each one of these documents it found internally, and then take that and use it for a downstream workflow. One last note that we find with these multi-agent systems is the ability for the user to then further investigate. So for folks that are big cursor fans, we've introduced a Command L, or kind of a quick action protocol here, research more, which allows us to quickly move from a few of these examples. So similarly, if I want to do a Command L on this document, we can continue that conversation, which again started from a larger system, which is farming out the work, into a Q&A system and follow-ups. Great. I'm going to move next now to another demonstration that uses the same architecture, but in this example, we're going to look at a number of different applications under the hood. Great, I'll kick that off. In this example, again, we're working with a fictitious beverage company. We've uploaded a data set, which we can take a peek at here. That data set includes a number of different product analytics, and we're actually describing a workflow here to a notebook agent in order for it to perform the analysis on our behalf. When this finishes, we can take a look, give feedback, adjust, and then pass it over to a reporting agent to finalize the results. One note as we're kind of walking through this is the UI feedback to the customer. Because of this notebook environment is interactive, I can take control at any point, make corrections, but I'm a little bit lazy today and I'm just going to let it work on its own. The system, as it's completing the task, is actually able to, again, allow the user to take control both in the browser as well as in the back end. So one fun example we always like to show is today Athena is joining Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom meetings, and it's actually able to control these environments under the hood. So maybe if we have time at the end, we'll start a quick meeting and invite Athena. Looks like she hit an error. We can continue to give her feedback. She should be able to note that down and to fix it herself, and we can see that happened just so. At any point, if we want to see the data lineage of the decision making, we can dig in for a more technical view, and also super helpful for debugging exercises. We'll let her finish here. Looks like she's got a few minutes left to pull together this analysis, but it's starting to look good in our eyes. I'll queue up the one last demonstration to quickly highlight a few of the capabilities we're noticing in the market. Before I do that, I actually want to quickly show one example of what we're noting as cursor for analysts is kind of the phrase we've seen in the market today. In this example, we'll actually highlight a few of the different operating modes that we've seen our analysts use Athena for, and then how you can then take that and move that into an agentic system. So in this example, we have a previous meeting with our team in the bottom left. We have a document in the bottom right, a PDF of some Formula One race car analysis, and CSV. Because the system has the ability to see into any one of these assets, I can ask a question such as, for the previous scouting report, what are the key action items and next steps? As that's running, I can continue to ask questions of any one of those documents, and if I switch to the right agent, or again to one of those more supervising-based agents, we can then have it take action such as drafting that report, sending an email, or scheduling an event for the next session. I'll jump over to that last demonstration for us, and we'll take a look at, in this example, a research-based workflow on the internet, and then taking that research and codifying it in both a structured and an unstructured report. So again, from the beginning, we looked at an internal workflow where a user is actually going out and reviewing internal documents, sourcing those, and then performing the analysis. In this example, we're actually going out to the internet, performing that same style of analysis, and then generating some results in both a structured and an unstructured fashion. As it's finishing up here, I'll quickly talk about one to two of the kind of integrations points that has allowed us to move not only from sourcing this as a true Excel style output, but also allow our customers to migrate into some more fun environments that I'll show a quick example of. So as we put a few of these documents or assets into our drive here, we can actually ask questions on top of them. So if I call a Excel function in here around summarizing this asset, and I can pass the asset ID, we should be able to run various workflows, again, on top of this, completely built in. The same agent workflows that you'd expect from this Copilot sidebar also exists in these embedded type workflows as well, allowing folks who are both non-technical and technical to kind of dig in together. There's always going to be a perfect environment for how people like to get work done. We found that sometimes that's codified in code, other times it's in chat, and then lastly we find this spreadsheet-like format has allowed folks to very quickly move through the context handoff process with agents. And with that, thanks.